Remember when Donald Trump was going to impose all these tariffs on China and they were all going to pay? Yeah, I don't think that worked out. So according to this article, US businesses and consumers have paid 90% of the tariffs that have been imposed in the last year. And this is despite claims from Donald J. Trump that foreign companies were going to bear the burden for these tariffs. New York Fed study found that for the first 11 months, most of the tariff costs were passed on to the ordinary consumer. And this is kind of bad news for Donald J. Trump because his little tariff regime is under fire from a number of angles. So you've got the Supreme Court. They're about to rule on his ability to even levy these charges in the first place. Then you had a couple of Congress people from the Republican side who broke with party ranks and voted in favor of legislation to reverse the tariff charges on Canada. And if you're unaware, Canada is one of the US's most important trading partners. So in August of last year, Donald Trump got on his little fake Twitter thing and in all caps lock said the following: billions of dollars, largely from countries that have taken advantage of the United States for many years, laughing all the way, will start flowing into the USA. Not sure what the laughing all the way thing was, but anyway, that really didn't happen because they did get $124 billion from these tariffs, but the call was coming from inside the building, babe. That money was coming from your people. And before anyone jumps in and be like, well, that was a New York Fed study. There were other studies, babes. The other studies were worse. Some of them were at like 94%. Some of them were saying 96%. US were paying. The US were paying. There was an independent think tank called Tax Foundation, and they found that in 2025, the average cost to the American household was an extra $1,000. And in this year, it's going to be $1,300. So I hope you got a pay rise.
Someone said America is in the season of The Apprentice, and it honestly looks like this. And the people who are paying the cost of this is the average consumer. It's almost like people said this was what was going to happen. Honestly, there was even that one clip I remember where the Trump supporter was on the street talking about how other countries were going to pay the tariffs and it was going to make America great again.
That's the thing Trump's talking about. If we tax them, hit tariffs, the same item they're making over there will cost the same to make over here.
We pay the tariffs.
Well, the companies pay the tariffs, not us.
China doesn't pay the tariffs. We do when they come in.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Some people are really fucking stupid.
So now that the tariffs have been ruled illegal, the corporations have decided to do the boldest thing ever. They're going to sue the federal government for the tariffs that they had to pay. However, I remember those corporations saying they're not going to pay the tariffs. They're going to roll the cost onto the consumer. So we paid the tariffs. The companies are getting filthy fucking rich off of tariff revenue. And then they're going to sue the government for the illegal tariffs that we had to pay. And they profit again. So they took from us, then sue the government to take from us again. Like, am I getting this right? I mean, is this like a double tax again? Are we angry enough yet? I mean, have we ruled out that corporations and the government are the problem? And maybe we should boycott both? Tell me what you think, because this is the fucking vibe I get from these guys. Fuck them.
Unless the company can prove they ate the cost, they shouldn't get anything. This was the original plan. Consumers always paid the tariffs. And don't forget, they're going to keep the prices the same. And the sad part about this is that we were in support of the corporations and small businesses that were struggling. And we're like, okay, we understand that you're going to pass on the cost because you have to stay in business. But then if they do get the rebate or the refund from the government, then do those businesses then help reduce the prices for their consumers that were there to support them from the beginning?
I know there's a lot going on, but this is one of the crazier threads that you're going to start hearing about.
President Trump took a massive L today with the Supreme Court ruling that he, in fact, is not allowed to impose tariffs. They're going to have to pay all that money back, right? It's like $240 billion. They're going to have to pay it back. But good news for me and for any company, because we already priced in tariffs, right? So you already raise your prices accordingly. People are already okay with it. And now we're getting that money back. So you basically just like double your margin in a day. So at some point this year, I'm probably going to get a nice little check for well over 6 figures.
Okay, so just to clarify, this guy charged you more money to offset the cost of his tariffs. And now the government might have to refund businesses like this guy money because the tariffs were illegal. And instead of passing those refunds back to his customers, he's going to just pocket the money and double his margin, as he said. The crazy part about this is, what if those refunds were leveraged in some sort of way? What if they were going to in turn make even more money for other people? Well, here's where it gets extra crazy. Cantor Fitzgerald, a financial firm run by the sons of Howard Lutnick, that's right, current Commerce Secretary and Epstein philanderer Howard Lutnick, offered to buy the rights to potential tariff refunds from companies for roughly 20 to 30 cents on the dollar. This mechanism allowed the firm to bet on the potential legal overturnings of tariffs championed by their father, who is currently the Commerce Secretary, and also Epstein philanderer. It kind of seems like this might have been the plan all along, to just extract more money from you and pocket it into rich motherfuckers like that first guy, and also our current Commerce Secretary and his sons. Also, you heard 1,000 Yard Stare here give away the game a little bit. He raised his prices because of these tariffs. You think he's going to lower them now out of the goodness of his heart? No. He's established that you and everyone else is willing to pay this much more. So prices are staying where they are despite tariffs being removed. Do you understand that? Donald Trump continues to be the worst fucking decision for affordability for Americans ever. Period.
Some people are even curious, what is his business? We don't buy from him. I mean, we should never even support people like this. This piece of is what's wrong with America. I swear, people love to self-incriminate themselves. But it is great for us to know this, because now we understand what these guys were thinking about the whole time. And it really shows that there's no solidarity between some of these businesses and the average consumer.
So, if all the companies rose prices because of tariffs, now that the tariffs are unconstitutional, all the companies will lower their prices back to what they were before tariffs, right? Is what I'd say if I was naive. Everything goes up. The stock market goes up. The GDP goes up. Prices go up. The only thing that never goes up is wages. Your wages never go up. Amazing.
The Supreme Court has ruled that Trump's tariffs are unconstitutional. Golden age update, guys. We've got nothing. We might have to pay back $150 billion to other countries and nations and businesses. Meanwhile, the American people have been screwed this entire time as prices have went up on the tariffs, and now it's been ruled unconstitutional where we may be having to pay it back. This administration's a joke. It's over. This administration is an absolute travesty. We've got nothing. No mass deportations. We've got no actual release of the Epstein files. So many more to go. We have no tariffs that are unconstitutional now. So everything you voted for is a complete lie. Trump is a complete lie. It is ridiculous. I'm tired of it.
Almost no notes on this except for the one. You voted for this, famously. What do you mean, you people? I understand that this is a personal failing, okay? I understand that we should be welcoming these easily manipulated troglodytes back into the folds of our society, but I'm having an exceedingly difficult time when they just don't acknowledge the fact that they alone were the reason we are in this fucking mess.
By now, you've probably heard about the Supreme Court striking down Donald Trump's tariffs as illegal, and you've also probably heard that companies are clamoring to get refunds for the trillions of dollars in tariffs that they paid. But what folks aren't talking about is the fact that these tariffs were paid mostly by us, the American public, and there's no refund coming our way. Trump has said he's going to fight it, but under the current Supreme Court ruling, corporations and small businesses that were subject to tariffs are currently entitled to refunds, and they're petitioning the government to try to get their money back. But there is no mechanism for us to get the money back that we paid. And by the way, we paid 80% of those tariffs. Companies didn't cut their profit margins to pay them. They increased the costs of goods, even essential goods like gas and groceries. It was a tax on American consumers, and we're not going to see any of that money back. So really what's happened here is a massive transfer of wealth from working class people into the pockets of corporations. Again, a just resolution to these tariffs would be to go company by company, to look at the distribution of how much they paid out of their profit margin versus how much they raised prices, and offer consumers and the American public a refund on the tax that we paid that has now been deemed illegal. But of course we know that's not how power works in this country. It's all driven by money. So the likelihood that you and I will actually see the money that we illegally paid to the government is virtually zero.
If trickle-down economics doesn't work, then why is something trickling down my leg right now? You need a diaper or you need to go to the bathroom? prices won't go down and businesses didn't pay anything because they passed every dollar onto the American taxpayers. Let me know what your thoughts are with these businesses and them receiving some refunds from the tariffs. Leave your comments down below. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We have fun out here. Also, check out this video. I'm pretty sure you're definitely going to enjoy it. But nevertheless, I'll see you guys when I see you. Peace.